All right, come on, let's go back in here.
You look beautiful.
Is that what you came all the way over here to tell me?
No.
Then what is it?
I think you need to sit down.
Tiffany just made the most dangerous move of her entire life, and she don't even realize how bad this is about to get for her. See, when you start throwing people under the bus to protect yourself, you better make sure those people stay quiet. And right now, Bari knows too much, Smitty is on the warpath, Kesha won't stop asking questions, and Victor is already warning Tiffany that people are talking. So let me ask you this. How long can one woman keep lying to everybody around her before the whole thing collapses? Because episode 7 is called Icebox for a reason, and somebody's world is about to get ice cold. Let's start from the top, because you need to understand just how deep Tiffany is in this thing right now. This is not a small lie she is telling. This is not something she can just sweep under the rug and move on from. What Tiffany is carrying right now is the truth about Nuck's death, and that truth is the kind of secret that destroys everything around it if it ever gets out. And the scary part is, it is not just one person asking questions anymore. It is multiple people closing in on her from every single direction at the same time, and Tiffany is running out of moves fast. Now let's talk about Victor, because his role in this episode is very important. In the trailer, we can see Victor pulling Tiffany to the side, and he is telling her straight up that people are starting to ask questions. And Tiffany's reaction is like, about what? Come on now, Tiffany. You already know what they're asking about. There is only one thing that has been on everybody's mind since Nuck disappeared, and that is, where is he and what happened to him? Victor is not coming to her with good news. He is coming to her with a warning, and the fact that Victor feels the need to warn her tells you everything you need to know about how serious this situation is getting. People are noticing. People are talking. And Tiffany is right in the middle of all of it, trying to act like she does not know a single thing. And this is where it gets real interesting, because Tiffany learned everything she knows from Alicia and Nuck themselves. She watched how they moved. She watched how they handled pressure. She watched how they protected themselves when things got too hot. And now she is applying every single one of those lessons to her own survival. That is actually kind of cold when you think about it. The people who taught her how to play the game are gone, and now she is using their own playbook to cover up what happened to them. But here is the problem with that. Alicia and Nuck had years of experience navigating this world. Tiffany is still learning, and when you are still learning and you are already in this deep, mistakes start happening. Now let us get into Kesha, because this woman is not letting this go. Not even a little bit. Every single episode we see her, she is asking about Nuck. Every time she gets around Tiffany or Emmett or Bari, she brings his name up. And I know some of y'all are tired of hearing about it, but honestly think about it from Keisha's perspective. This is a man she was connected to. He was a major part of the world around her. And one day he just vanishes with no explanation, and nobody wants to give her a straight answer. Of course she is not going to drop it. She is going to keep pushing until somebody slips up and tells her something real. And in episode 7, that pushing is going to create some serious problems for Tiffany. Because in the trailer, we can see Keisha sitting down with Tiffany having yet another conversation, and guess what it is about? Nuck. Again. And this time, Keisha is going even further. She is not just asking where he is anymore. Now she is starting to point fingers. She is asking Tiffany directly, does she think Bari had something to do with Nuck's disappearance? And this right here is the moment that changes everything in episode 7. Because instead of shutting that conversation down, instead of protecting Bari the way you would expect her to, Tiffany looks at Kesha and basically says she would not put it past him. Let that sink in for a second. She would not put it past Bari. Your girl Tiffany is sitting there letting Keisha believe that Bari might have had something to do with Nuck disappearing. She is throwing him straight under the bus to take the heat off herself, and that is a cold, cold move. Now, the question you have to ask yourself is whether this is a coordinated plan between Tiffany and Bari, or whether Tiffany is going completely rogue on this one. Because if they talked about this beforehand and Bari agreed to take some of the suspicion, that is one thing. But if Tiffany is doing this on her own without telling Bari, that is a whole different situation entirely. Because Bari already knows too much. He is already involved in this secret, whether he wanted to be or not. And now Tiffany is painting a target on his back without him even knowing it is happening. That is the kind of move that gets people hurt. That is the kind of move that blows up in your face when the person you set up finds out what you did. And here is what makes this even more dangerous. Bari has already shown us that he has a problem keeping his mouth shut. We have seen it. The man runs his mouth when he should stay quiet, and that has always been his weakness. So now you have got Tiffany throwing his name into Keisha's head as a possible suspect, and Bari has no idea this is happening. If Keisha goes to Bari and starts pressing him about Nuck, and he is completely caught off guard because nobody warned him, what do you think is going to happen? You think Bari is going to stay calm and collected under that kind of pressure? Or is he going to panic and say something that makes the whole situation 10 times worse for everybody involved? And let us not forget that Victor is watching all of this unfold from the outside. Victor knows what is going on. He is aware of the pressure that is building, and he is clearly trying to help Tiffany navigate it, but even he has limits. There is only so much covering up one person can do before they start to protect themselves first. And if Tiffany keeps making moves like throwing Bari under the bus without thinking about the consequences, she's going to find herself standing alone with nobody left willing to help her when things really fall apart. So right now, Tiffany is juggling Victor, warning her about people asking questions, Kesha directly asking her about Bari and Nuck, and the very real possibility that Bari could find out she is using his name as a shield. That is 3 fires burning at the same time, and she only has 2 hands. Something is going to get out of control. Something is going to slip, and when it does, the fallout is going to be massive, because the people around Tiffany do not play when it comes to being crossed. But as bad as all of that sounds, it is actually not even the most dangerous thing closing in on Tiffany right now, because while she is busy managing lies and redirecting suspicion, there is somebody out there who is not interested in asking questions at all, and that somebody is already grabbing the strap and getting ready to make a move. So who exactly is coming for Tiffany, and how close are they already? Now let us shift the focus, because while Tiffany is busy playing mind games and redirecting suspicion onto Bari, there is a whole other threat building up on the street level that she has absolutely no control over. And this threat is not coming from somebody who wants to ask questions or have a conversation. This threat is coming from somebody who has already made up his mind that somebody needs to answer for what happened to Nuck. And that somebody is Smitty. See, Smitty has been quiet for a little too long, and in this world, when somebody who is known for making moves goes quiet, that means they are planning something. And based on what we see in the trailer for episode 7, whatever Smitty has been planning is finally about to go into motion, and it is looking very bad for the people around Tiffany. In the trailer, we can see Smitty with the crew, and he is grabbing the strap. Now that one image alone tells you everything you need to know about where his head is at right now. This is not a man who is sitting around grieving and waiting for answers. This is a man who has decided that he is going to get his own version of justice for Nuck, and he does not care who gets caught in the crossfire. The 63rd Street mob has been without their leader since Nuck disappeared, and that kind of power vacuum does not just sit still. Somebody always steps up and starts making aggressive moves to fill that space. And right now, Smitty is that person. He is the one holding things together on that side, and he is the one who is going to make sure that whoever is responsible for Nuck not being around anymore is going to feel it. Now think about what this means for the overall structure of everything happening in episode 7. You have got Tiffany on one side, dealing with the political side of the situation, trying to manage Kesha's suspicions and redirect blame onto Bari, and then you have got Smitty on the completely other side of this, who does not care about politics or conversations or who thinks what. He wants action, he wants somebody to pay, and the trailer is showing us very clearly that Tiffany is the one who is scared. We see her looking terrified when that buzzer rings, and that is not the look of somebody who is just stressed about a conversation. That is the look of somebody who genuinely believes something bad is about to happen to them. And 9 times out of 10, when Tiffany is scared like that, it is because a physical threat is coming her way, not just a social one. And this connects directly to what Victor says in the trailer when he is talking about payback. Victor is heard saying, "This is payback," and that line is massive because it confirms that a move has already been made or is about to be made in retaliation for something. And the most logical thing that the 63rd Street mob would want payback for right now is Nuck. They lost their leader. They lost the man who held their whole operation together. And even though they have not found his body and technically do not have proof of what happened, streets talk, information travels. And it would not take much for word to get back to Smitty that Tiffany or the people around her know more about Nuck's disappearance than they are letting on. So when Victor says this is payback, you have to understand that this is not just a random conflict. This is targeted. This is deliberate. and somebody in Tiffany's circle is about to get hit hard because of it. Now let us also talk about the dynamic between Smitty and Reggae, because this is something that is going to matter a lot going forward in the season. In the trailer, we can see Smitty and Reggae having a conversation, and Reggae is telling him, "You stay on your side and I stay on mine." Now that kind of language between two people who are supposed to be in the same world tells you that there is already tension brewing between them. Since Nuck is gone, Smitty needs a new structure to operate under, and Reggae is positioning himself to potentially fill that gap. But Smitty is not the type to just fall in line under somebody new without pushing back. He has his own way of doing things, and he has his own loyalty to what Nuck built. So this disagreement between Smitty and Riga is not just a small beef. This is the beginning of a power struggle within the 63rd Street mob that could completely change the landscape of the street side of this story before the season is over. And then you have to factor in Big Mike, because we know Big Mike has always had concerns and reservations about how things are being run. With Nuck gone and Reggie trying to slide into a leadership position, Big Mike is going to have opinions about that. He is not just going to sit back and watch somebody he does not fully trust take over everything that Nuck built. And with Smitty already showing signs that he is willing to go rogue and make moves on his own, you have got a situation where the 63rd Street mob is essentially fracturing from the inside at the exact same moment they are supposed to be coming together to respond to losing Nuck. That internal chaos, combined with the external pressure of Smitty making aggressive moves, is a recipe for something going very wrong, very fast, and innocent people, or at least people who thought they were safe, are going to get caught up in it. Now bringing it back to Tiffany, because everything always comes back to Tiffany in this episode. She is sitting at the center of all of this chaos, whether she realizes it or not. The streets are heating up because of what happened to Nuck. Smitty is making moves. The 63rd Street mob is fracturing, and Tiffany is the one holding the secret that started all of this. She is the thread that connects every single part of this story together. And right now, that thread is being pulled from multiple directions at the same time. Victor is pulling it from one side, trying to manage the fallout. Kesha is pulling it from another side, trying to find the truth. And Smitty is about to pull it from the street side with force. At some point, that thread is going to snap. And when it does, the person standing closest to the middle of all of this is going to take the most damage. But here is what nobody is talking about yet. While everybody is focused on Tiffany and Smitty and the 63rd Street chaos, Emmett is sitting on a piece of devastating news that is about to force him into making a choice that could change absolutely everything for everyone involved. So what exactly did Emmett find out, and why is this choice so difficult that even he cannot see a clean way out of it?